Traci Abbott's return is not just a normal homecoming, but also a milestone marking many profound changes that are gradually forming in the Abbott family as well as the entire Genoa City. After many weeks of absence, Tracy returned from New York with a heavy heart but also full of hope for a new future. This trip is not simply a vacation or an escape from reality. It is a journey to find meaning, to heal and, above all, to confront the wounds that have never healed in the soul of the eldest Abbott sister. During Tracy's absence, the Abbott mansion no longer retains its inherent tranquility and antiquity. Diane Jenkins, Jack Abbott's new wife, with a strong personality and uncompromising initiative, has quietly carried out a series of large and small changes in the house. Diane not only renovated and renewed the common spaces, but also boldly changed the places associated with the Abbott family's memories, making every wall and every corner seem to be imbued with her own new mark. When Tracy stepped into the door, she was truly shocked, not only because of the physical changes Diane had made, but also because of the feeling of returning to a place that was both familiar and strange, between disturbed memories and a transformed reality. Diane stood in the middle of the hall, her eyes filled with expectation and excitement. Although confident in her acumen, she still could not help but anxiously wait for recognition and acceptance from Tracy, the woman who was respected by the whole family. In the moment the two women stood face to face, the atmosphere between them was filled with caution, mixed with a bit of regret and sadness from Tracy when she realized that the old home was no longer intact as before. But more than anyone, Tracy understood that change was inevitable. She herself had just gone through a painful journey of transformation and maturity after the incident with Martin Laurent. That adventure not only opened up new life experiences for Tracy but also aroused in her the desire to continue writing a lifetime work, a new book inspired by what she had experienced. For Tracy, writing is the only way to heal, to transform pain into hope and sympathy. Not long after Tracy returned home, another surprise knocked on the door of the Abbott mansion. This time, it was none other than Ashley Abbott, her long-lost sister, who returned to her side with a quiet appearance but an unusually determined gaze. The two sisters had spent a long time in New York, together facing sadness, helplessness, and unforgettable memories. However, this return is not only an act of reunion but also carries a greater purpose. To face the past and be ready to move forward, no matter how thorny and difficult the path is. Tracy quickly realizes that Ashley is different. It seems that Ashley's mental health problems have been somewhat controlled thanks to the patience and dedication of the doctor and the unconditional love of Tracy. The stability in Ashley's eyes, the relieved smile and the way she proactively shares her future plans are proof of an important recovery period. This makes Jack, despite being busy with company concerns and internal troubles, unable to hide his emotions when meeting his two beloved sisters again. Jack, who is always afraid that psychological trauma will forever haunt Ashley, but this time he feels that everything has begun to change. However, behind that calmness, Ashley is hiding a secret that is about to turn everything upside down. In that context, the Abbott mansion is bustling with preparations for the next big event in Genoa City, Nikki Newman's birthday party. This is not only an occasion for important figures of the city to gather, but also an opportunity for secrets and conflicts that have been buried for a long time to suddenly rise up. Nikki has overcome many painful events in her life to maintain her position, and this birthday she is determined to prove to the world that she is still a queen of Genoa City. However, Nikki herself could not have expected that the party she organized would be the center of a series of unexpected events and dramatic decisions. Amanda Sinclair, a talented lawyer but also often involved in controversies, is facing an important turning point in her career and personal life. Caught in a whirlwind of family secrets, the pressure of major lawsuits, and unresolved personal feelings, Amanda finds herself forced to make a decision that could change the trajectory of her entire life. It's not just a matter of reason versus emotion, but also a choice between loyalty to herself and responsibility to others. Meanwhile, the remaining members of the Abbott and Newman families are caught up in the whirlwind of unexpected changes. Diane, after witnessing Tracy's meaningfully silent reaction to the changes in the mansion, begins to worry whether she has gone too far or crossed the thin line between innovation and tradition. Jack, busy preparing for Nikki's big event, is faced with unanswered questions about his sister's return, as well as a sense of unease as everything around him seems increasingly out of control. Ashley, after spending a lot of time reflecting on the past, decides that it is time to reveal to Jack an important piece of news that she has kept from him for a long time. The truth may be related to Tracy's recovery, but it also does not rule out the possibility of a major business issue coming up for the Abbott family, one that could change the balance of power within the corporation and Genoa City. It was in these quiet moments between the sisters that Ashley quietly reminded them that no matter how painful the past is, there must be someone brave enough to face it, accept it, and move on. Outside the Abbott mansion, the atmosphere in Genoa City seemed to be heavy with the constant changes of the extended family generations. Those who seemed to be used to the storms now had to face new worries. Competing forces, dark secrets, and tangled relationships were constantly intertwined, making it possible for anyone to become a chess piece in the endless game of power. Nikki's birthday was approaching. Everyone was anxiously waiting for the unexpected things to happen. Will Tracy be able to find a sense of belonging to her beloved home? Will Diane be forgiven or continue to be a thorn in the other members' eyes? Will Jack be wise enough to maintain happiness, balancing family affection and corporate power? And most of all, how will Amanda Sinclair's decision ripple through the entire Genoa City community? Just know that, no matter how the dawn breaks after each long night, Genoa City will never stop moving, where every decision, every choice, no matter how small, can change the fate of an entire generation. And in that moment, people like Tracy, Ashley, Jack, Diane, Nikki, and Amanda will continue to write their own endless story, a story where pain, hope, power and love forever go hand in hand in the dance of fate. The last days of spring in Genoa City passed in an atmosphere full of foreboding, as all eyes turned to the important event. The birthday celebration of Nikki Newman, the woman who had gone through many events and still maintained her position as an irreplaceable symbol in the world of power in this city. Every flower, every light, every table carefully arranged in the Newman mansion, all reflected the thoughts and expectations that Victoria Newman placed on this party. As the eldest daughter, Victoria understood better than anyone that every detail of the party was a message of love, loyalty, and could also be the spark for the silent struggles that still lurked in every breath of Genoa's upper class. Victoria could not hide her excitement, because this year, not only was it an occasion to honor her mother, but also a time when both the Newman family and outside forces felt the wave of change secretly creeping into every corner of the city. She observed everything, from the menu, to the guest list, to the whispers of the waiters, and couldn't help but worry that something more than a simple party awaited. The party planner, a renowned event planner to the upper class, had insisted that the evening would be an unforgettable one in the history of Genoa City. For most, it was the promise of extravagance, laughter, glamour, and dancing that would last all night. But for Victoria, her intuition as someone who had spent years at the center of power struggles told her that the real surprises lay not in what was on display, but in the messages hidden behind the red velvet curtains, in the glances between glasses of wine, and in the signs that only those who had lived through the storm would recognize. Before the party, rumors about Aristotle Dumas, a name that was gradually becoming a ghost haunting the wealthy and powerful in Genoa, had been circulating. Dumas did not appear in public, did not send direct congratulations, but his absence became a heavy presence. Everyone knew that Dumas was secretly operating big moves to change the situation not only in the business field, but also in personal relationships and secret alliances between the big families. Then came the moment everyone had been waiting for. In the luxurious space, shimmering lights, gentle music, everything seemed to be elevated to the level of art of perfection. A mysterious message from Aristotle Dumas was sent. No one saw his figure, no one knew who the real intermediary was who delivered the message to the Newman mansion, but when the letter was handed to Nikki under the astonished eyes of the guests, a wave of excitement spread throughout the room. Victoria froze, her heart beating faster as she saw her mother's expression change in the moment she read the first few lines. The letter was not long, but Dumas's words were sharp, both polite and coldly warning. He did not directly speak of intrigue or agreements, Nor did he mention the big names of Genoa City, but instead cleverly hinted at the future that lay ahead, of the inevitable upheavals, and that every empire, no matter how strong, will face its greatest storm at some point. The atmosphere suddenly became tense, all the chatter, laughter, and unfinished glasses of wine died down to give way to a sense of unease. Nikki, the strong woman who had weathered many storms, maintained a calm exterior, but her eyes were thoughtful. She knew well that a reminder from Dumas was never a simple matter. In the past, those who ignored his signals paid a heavy price. Victoria sensed the undercurrent beneath the placid exterior. She touched her mother's shoulder, her eyes conveying reassurance and a silent reminder, no matter what, their family would stick together. But deep down, Victoria knew that things had changed. A new force had truly entered the Newmans' once impregnable territory, and the peaceful days, if they ever existed, were behind them. For the guests, the event will still be remembered as a lavish party, where they witnessed not only the gorgeous dresses, the lyrical music, and the congratulations, but also felt the tense atmosphere of the conspiracies that were gradually revealed. Whispers began to rise, everyone trying to speculate who Dumas was really aiming at, or whether there was a hidden message directed at Victoria, Nikki, or the entire Newman group that they had always proudly built. And when the night ended, everyone left with heavy thoughts, but in the very room that had just witnessed such brilliance, big questions still hung unanswered. Was this just the beginning of a new battle, where the old and new forces would collide without mercy? Was Aristotle Dumas' message just a test, or a hidden declaration of war against what the Newman family owned? And what will Victoria, the woman who is gradually proving her mettle beyond the shadow of her great father, do to protect her family, to protect the values she has worked so hard to build? Perhaps only time will tell. But one thing is certain, from the moment that mysterious letter appeared, no one in Genoa City can sleep peacefully in the old sense of security anymore. A new era of struggle, of hidden secrets and conspiracies gradually revealed, has officially begun, right on the night of the Newman family's anniversary party that seemed to have only joy and laughter. And Victoria, as well as Nikki, or anyone present that night, understands that the rules of the game have changed, and every decision from now on will have a greater meaning than ever. During the tense days when the name Aristotle Dumas still echoed through the corridors of power in Genoa City, Amanda Sinclair gradually realized that she had been drawn into a maze with no way out, where every choice contained risks and no one really trusted anyone. Dumas, that mysterious and powerful man, was not only a simple client, but also seemed to represent a wave of change that was about to engulf the city's long-standing values. Amanda, in her position as Dumas's lawyer, was placed in a dilemma, both a protector and a person who could be manipulated at any time without her even realizing it. No one denied the ability and bravery of Amanda Sinclair, a woman who had overcome many storms, protecting herself from emotional and professional pitfalls. But this time, things were different. The relationship between her and Dumas, although nominally between lawyer and client, contained elusive nuances. Deep down, Amanda is still attracted to Dumas's charm, sharp wit, and unique vision, but is also torn by a vague anxiety about the secrets he hides behind his perfect exterior. Devon Hamilton's appearance is a powerful wake-up call. Devon, with his natural sensitivity and intuition, does not hesitate to express his doubts about Dumas, and warns Amanda that she may be caught up in a game whose rules she does not really know. Although tactful and subtle, Devon still shows his disappointment and anxiety at Amanda's excessive trust in the mysterious man. He suggests, even harshly, that Amanda may be just a pawn in a larger plan that Dumas is secretly operating, and that she needs to wake up to realize the truth before it is too late. But Amanda did not take the warning lightly, not because she was naive or weak, but because of the pride of someone who had built everything from scratch after many failures. She trusted her own judgment, believed that she was smart enough to recognize when she was being lied to, strong enough not to be a victim of anyone, even someone as powerful as Dumas. It was this confidence that put Amanda in a state of constant tension, between her loyalty to her clients, her instinct for self-preservation, and her fear of the unknown. The situation became even more complicated when Phyllis Summers appeared, as usual, with her sharp wit and boundless curiosity. Phyllis, as a partner, or rival, always found ways to make Amanda's job more difficult. Phyllis's questions, her seemingly innocuous but meaningful conversations, made Amanda wary of every step. Phyllis seemed to sense that Amanda was hiding something, or at least hesitant to determine her allegiance to Dumas. Phyllis herself had repeatedly suggested theories, forcing Amanda to rethink everything she knew, and didn't know, about her client. As the days passed, the pressure mounted on Amanda. Not only did she have to deal with the competitive tactics at work, but she also had to balance protecting Dumas's legal rights with protecting her own reputation and credibility. The secret phone calls, the closed meetings, the times Dumas dodged direct questions, and Amanda began to feel tired and disoriented. She knew that in Genoa City, a moment of carelessness could send her career and life into the abyss. Devon still did not give up trying to help Amanda see the truth. He often reminded her to check all the evidence carefully, not to put absolute trust in anyone, especially someone who had made many powerful people submit like Dumas. Amanda, although cold and tough on the outside, inside began to waver, feeling caught between two cliffs. On one side was her friendship, her old love with Devon, who always cared for her, worried about her with sincere feelings. On the other side was the bond of professional ethics, commitment to clients, and a bit of mysterious curiosity for Dumas. Phyllis, who was not used to letting anything that could give her an advantage slip through her fingers, continually pushed Amanda to the edge. She exploited every small opening to probe, raising suspicions about Dumas's motives, sometimes even cleverly setting psychological traps that forced Amanda to question herself. At times, Phyllis pretended to sympathize with Amanda, sharing her dilemma between professional ethics and personal feelings, but in reality, she was trying to drag her into a new game where one wrong move could cause everything to collapse. Finally, after many sleepless nights, Amanda knew she could no longer delay her decision. New data from Devon, Phyllis's relentless pressure, and Dumas's increasingly unpredictable attitude pushed her to the limit. Amanda had a difficult choice before her. Continue to defend Dumas, accepting the moral and legal risks, or firmly step away from the case, regardless of the consequences for both her career and personal relationships. The night before the decision, Amanda sat quietly by the window, watching the city of Genoa shine under the night lights, her heart filled with 100 thoughts. Memories of her early career, of famous lawsuits and unhealed wounds from the past, rushed back like an endless sad song. She understood that, no matter what decision she made, there would always be people who disagreed, there would always be people ready to take advantage of any loopholes she made to bring her down or manipulate her. As the weekend approached, Amanda felt the scrutiny of the media, the anticipation of her colleagues, and most of all, Dumas' calm but cold gaze during their final meetings. Perhaps he had anticipated her hesitation, or perhaps, as always, Dumas knew more than he let on. Devon waited patiently, hoping Amanda would choose the right path, even if it meant facing Dumas, a force not to be trifled with. In that decisive moment, Amanda wondered if she had the courage to draw the line, to face the truth, no matter how harsh it was. She knew that in Genoa City, every secret would one day be exposed, every conspiracy would come to a price. And above all, Amanda herself would be held accountable for the choices she made today, whether it was protecting a powerful but dangerous client, or freeing herself from the traps of loyalty and unnamed fear. And so, before a new week began, Amanda Sinclair knew she was ready to face the consequences of every decision, ready to fight for the truth, and above all, ready to never let anyone, not even Aristotle Dumas, ever guide her life again.